Okay, good afternoon, everybody. How are you? So, my name is Elliot Renton. I'm the APAC head of Grabyo, based in Singapore, and really happy to be able to sit here today and give you an overview on how sports production is evolving in the cloud, in digital, showing you some of the insights and the trends that we have globally as a business, and providing you with some examples of some of our clients across North America, Europe, and Asia as well. So the first slide that you're seeing here today, for many of you in the room, will not be new to you. What we're seeing globally right now, and we want to provide you with some context here before we get into some of the production trends and examples, is a massive stagnation and decline in traditional television consumption, as well as then the proliferation and the role of increased devices, digital consumption, and new services that are available to consumers the world over. We can go into detail on the way the different regions are reacting to that, but this is being fueled, and the engine of growth is fueled by the rise of mobile internet over the last 10 years, as well as also social internet, the rise of devices, and also the rise in ARPU levels across consumers around the world. When we look at all of these different devices and the services that are on offer, what it's able to do is to offer you, give platforms the opportunity, broadcasters, sports rights holders, the opportunity to offer personalized services to different people that you otherwise wouldn't have done in times previously. And what that has meant then is that millions of people are now engaging with the content more than ever before through a variety of different platforms, different devices, whether that's 2G, 3G, 4G, or the advance of future 5G. And it means that billions and billions of new opportunities with different people around the world are now open to us. But what this also does, it raises the questions around business models. On this slide here, you're seeing US metrics, but you're seeing that younger audiences are consuming content in traditional forms less so than they ever have before. But on the flip side, you've got an older audience that are probably consuming more television content as they age and as lifespans get older. This has created a massive fracture in the ecosystem. What we're seeing is that traditional TV forms are stagnating, but OTT subscription rates are going through the roof. They're increasing more so than ever before. In the US market, already OTT subscribers are more than regular paid television. And we expect to see the same happening in most tier one markets around the world between 2019 and 2020. This fractured ecosystem also means that, it's asking a question of, what are those revenue forms going to take? What are they going to look like? What is monetization going to look like in the next 12 months or the next 24 months? And it's also raising the question about what that demand is going to look like, how that consumer is going to evolve, and exactly what are they going to want and on what platform. I think then you also have to think around the role of devices and what is universally true around the world, whether that is in first world markets or emerging markets that we reside in here in Southeast Asia, is that consumers want content on the go wherever and whenever they want. There's a massive insatiable demand for that content, and if they're not going to get it from a platform, from a rights holder, or from a broadcaster or a brand, they're going to find places in which they can consume that content and engage with it. And that break in the ecosystem, that disruption, is fueling new differentiated players in the market. So we have the rise of social platforms that are not only distributing content, but they're now acquiring content as well. And they're getting involved in premium level acquisitions of sports. And also broadcasters are being challenged as well to differentiate how they're going to reach out to consumers too. If you look at how the last 3 or 4 years have played out, with Facebook's acquisition of La Liga for somewhere like India, that would have been quite transformative, 3 or 4 years ago. But now that has become the norm. And then we also look at the Amazon in the UK with their investment in tennis and their experimental kind of investment with the Premier League, where they're buying only 20 games as part of the new cycle. All that is designed to test the market and to find out what the consumer is doing. And so the role of real time becomes really important, and that's where, platforms like us here at Grabyo. That's why we were born over the last 4 or 5 years. And we're seeing then there's a huge demand around content, price point, demand, fueling the marketplace. So then I suppose we have to ask ourselves, what is the modern fan looking like? This is a few data points around football, but the same could be said for other sports around the world as well. But essentially, there has been a fundamental change in how these fans are acquiring content, distributing content, and sharing that content. Often the myth with a lot of younger demographics is that they're not interested in the game anymore. They're not interested in sports in the same way somebody like me will be. But actually what we find with our partners, such as La Liga, Premier League, MLS, other footballing bodies, is that that's not the case. It's just that they're consuming content on multiple platforms at different times of the day and on different, in different ways. And that's challenging the whole ecosystem. Social has now become platforms of choice, platforms of destination. We see a rise in how consumption on social is changing during breaks in live football or live sports in general. So there really is this change. And what is it that they're after? This looks like a simple slide, but if you really tackle it, this is content that's easier said than done for many traditional businesses. They're looking at documentaries, which is on the rise. They're looking at challenge videos. They're looking at interviews, behind the scenes, shoulder content. All of that kind of ancillary content that's helping to fuel the demand for content and getting under the skin of the sport. But the opportunities are vast. All of this type of content creates real potency for rights holders or broadcasters. The head of YouTube in Europe 2 weeks ago said that during the 2018 World Cup, there were over 6.5 billion video views during the 4 weeks of the tournament, but only 1.5 billion of those video views were of actual match footage. The rest was around, content such as this. So really, as this is evolving, it's not only challenging businesses from an infrastructure point of view, for an investment point of view, but also a talent point of view. It means that you've really got to go to market with, not a digital strategy, but it's an all multi-platform strategy. And of course, if you look at different platforms, and I'm focusing here a little bit on social because that's who we're integrated with. When you're, disseminating your content out onto these platforms, it's got to be fundamentally different. Different aspect ratios, different formats, different on Facebook compared to what they might be on TikTok. Or they might be very different on Snap versus what they might be on Instagram. So what I'm going to do now is just sort of give you a little bit of a deep dive into Grabyo. I want to lean the discussion a little bit on what we do and what we're doing and what we're seeing with some of our customers in the marketplace. So Grabyo, just briefly, is a 5-year-old company. We're headquartered in London. We opened our Asia-Pacific operations last year. We're based out of Singapore. And we've done over 19,000 live events on our platform in the past 12 months. And that is fueled by our integrations with Facebook, Snap, Instagram, Twitter, and many other OTT platforms, OVP platforms. From a product position, we offer a range of different video production services in the cloud that are helping people to change the way they're producing content on the fly and getting content out quickly to different audiences in real time. So here we focus a lot on live production streaming. It's a big growth area for our business. Social clipping, distribution, content management, video editing on the fly within the web browser, within the cloud. And we also enable the formats that allow you to realize the opportunities around monetization, which are not easy to navigate. But, with the right formats and with the right kind of strategies, we're beginning to see a lot of robust kind of monetization from that. If you look at the rise of Twitter's revenues over the last 12 months and the results that they posted recently, they're 330 million, users around the world are now being monetized like never before. Sorry, just got the technology wrong. Just in terms of our client base, just to give some of you who are, again, unaware of Grabyo, we are a global business working in North America, Europe, and Asia. We've got a wide variety of clients around news, sports, and entertainment. Sports has been our DNA, but increasingly we're working with music labels, state news broadcasters. We're working with entertainment brands. And so, we're seeing and experiencing large growth in the Asia region right now. From a services perspective, and this gives you this is a really good slide to sort of really give you an all-encompassing view of where Grabyo is right now. We offer live clipping through our Grabyo Studio tool. We have some level of automation in there. We also have the ability to monetize that content, live stream that content. Grabyo Producer is our high growth area where we're working with clients to create social first programming, enabling them to do different things and immerse audiences into live streaming via the cloud. And then most recently we launched Grabyo Editor, which is a collaborative tool similar to a Google Docs kind of environment where you can collaborate on the same asset at any one time on anywhere in the world, produce rapid video editing, and immerse all of that kind of content together and get that out to consumers on different platforms, different devices, and different social platforms as well. And so essentially what Grabyo does, and we talked a little bit about what the fan is expecting and what it's demanding, is we are serving ultimately that 360 evergreen view of what that fan should look like. So the importance of pre-match content, the shoulder content before the live experience. Then we help to deliver that live experience on digital platforms. We also are able to manage that content, help to monetize that content through the formats that we offer. And then we're able to, post those live events, provide formats so that you can maintain that always-on strategy. So broadcasters are now working with us very strategically in these areas so that they can, leverage their sports and news content in a variety of different ways tied to the products and services that we offer. This just gives you a view of our interface. Here you're seeing a piece of UFC content that's easily clippable in the Grabyo cloud. But through the aspect ratios, you're able to add your graphics, you're able to add messages across the video. This is our live-based camera switcher, Grabyo Producer. This is a high growth area for us in most markets now where we're delivering live without the need for hardware or massive investment across fiber optic cables or satellite OB trucks. You're able to produce a live event very, very quickly on the fly and enable, be able to exploit that opportunity with the user. And our new editing tool. This is the new interface for our editing tool. Graphics and animations, transitions, layers and workspaces, and you're able to produce content within a matter of seconds within Grabyo. So now I think we're just going to go into a few examples. These examples are from key clients of ours around the world. And so what you're seeing here, you may have heard for those die-hard football fans amongst you, Grabyo has been working with the FA for many years, and last year before the World Cup, they came up with this platform, the Lion's Den, which is a YouTube-based initiative. And the whole idea was to open up access to the England national team like never before, using 2 cameras in Russia in a small studio, feeding those feeds into Grabyo for 2 people in London to be able to, on the fly within the web browser, produce live content, live programming that goes straight to English fans or football fans around the world. This has been really well received by the media, and it's a really, really simple way of being able to innovate with the content. You can see the comments across the video here of fans around the world asking questions. And the whole thing that was underpinning this was the access to the talent, but also the ease of doing the work. It didn't require heavy hardware, and it was an easy way in which the FA could exploit an opportunity. It just so happened, obviously, the England team did quite well. But now they have continued that platform and continue to evolve that on every time the England national team is playing. This is an example from earlier on this year with the NFL. For those of you that are well read on the NFL, they are expanding and trying to expand in some key markets around the world. And here this is a project that we did with them called NFL Sideline at Wembley Stadium in England when they had a series of matches played earlier this year. Again, 1 or 2 cameras, influencers, some talent in the frame, graphics overlay over the live feed, and all done via the web browser. No need for hardware, no need for any mass investment into being able to get content out to new audiences in the UK who otherwise, wouldn't have the opportunity to really understand the nature of the game and understand, the excitement around the NFL. This is all underpinned by the NFL's strong digital strategy and how they can entice more fans. Bearing in mind that the NFL is not going to be a high participatory sport in the UK, but certainly from a social and digital media consumption point of view, this is a really interesting project. Another area which a lot of you will be familiar with is how gaming comes into play with live. I'm showing you some live examples of what we do now, and we've been working with Formula E around the world for the last 4 years. Over the past 12 months, they've driven their gaming strategy around esports. And on this example here, they've got 6 of their leading drivers meshed with esports fanatics that are athletes playing esports, bringing that all together to deliver a social first experience. And fans could participate in the show, asking those drivers questions before the event and after the event. But also you can participate in polls as well, so that you could decide on which drivers or which gamers should be experiencing the speed boost format, which Formula E is so well known about. So it's really a good way of sort of bringing gamification to the live experience. And what that's doing is mirroring what the Formula E linear TV experience is, but doing that in a way that is applicable to younger audiences. Many of you will be aware of the rise of DAZN. We've been working with DAZN for the last 3 years, on and off, and now we work globally with them across all of their major markets, particularly around live. They have a strong social strategy in which they want to drive customer acquisition to their OTT, but also, audience interaction as well. In this instance, you're seeing, a boxing match from the US, two pundits, a presenter, being filmed by one camera, being fed through Grabyo producer, but having different graphics overlays, whether that be driving promotions or engagement on what might be happening within the fights. But this is, supporting tune-in. It's helping them to drive, acquisition of their OTT. And what's underpinning that is obviously their aggressive strategy around how they're going to disrupt the broadcast marketplace. More launches are probably due over the next 12 months. And, live is going to be very, very important for them. And then the final example, which I'd like to show you today, is obviously brands as well, brands with influencers. This is an increasingly big part of what we do. So, again, a simple scenario whereby we have the talent, but we have the brand very much immersed in the social experiences. So it's bringing influencers, and it's bringing all of that kind of asset to a live experience through Grabyo. Again, not needing big hardware and big investment. So I mean, they're just a few simple examples of what Grabyo is doing. I've probably skimmed through this a lot quicker than I thought, but I welcome questions after the session. But I hope that's given you a view as to how video production, certainly in our world of digital and in the cloud environment, is evolving. And I thank you for the time and look forward to meeting some of you soon. Thank you very much.